3, 2, 1. Oh, 1 second. It says checking connection there.
It's the weather.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we live here.
And which camera are we looking at?
This is your main. This is
This is me?
Instagram, so this is
Okay,
our
good.
biggest following. So we'll be here. This will be on YouTube, and we'll have to cut this up.
Jamal, you doing a heck of a job, bro.
Isn't he amazing?
You ready to step it up a little bit?
Ooh,
Huh?
if he steps up, he's going to be on top.
We gonna need him to.
Yeah.
He gonna have to. Gonna have to.
I'm just letting the Lord take me where I need to go.
The Lord
Yeah,
take
yeah,
it.
yeah. He's shaking you, all right.
Do it, man. You
He's
gonna have to
shaking
do
you
it.
up.
Cause somebody gonna have to fill in, bro.
Take me where I had to go.
So come on,
All right.
step it up.
He's got it.
And 3, 2, 1, and
Welcome to Healthy You. I'm Councilwoman Dr. Michelle Powell, and I'm so happy that you decided to join us for what's going to be an amazing conversation about men's health. And I've been fortunate to have one of the most important men in Miami Gardens, our Mayor, Rodney Harris, who's going to speak with us about men's health.
Well, thank you, Dr. Powell, for allowing me to be here today. It's truly an honor and a pleasure. But I don't know how much I can say about men's health, but we'll talk about it.
Well, I tell you what, been a man all your life.
Yeah,
So you
been a man
know,
all
and
my
you've been
life.
around a lot of men, and I know with the work that you do with the kids,
Yes.
you are the role model. You are, in many ways, have been an instrument, and you've played football, and you've been the role model for these young men, plus your own family. Tell me
Yeah.
a little about being a father.
Well, for a long time, we've always been a father figure to children in our community. We've been a father figure to the kids that I've coached, kids from all over Miami-Dade County. So your kid is my kid. That's what I always say, that
I
your
like
kid
that.
is my kid. And we try to do everything in our power to ensure that these kids that we service, because as you know, we
Yeah.
are servants,
Yes.
and these kids that we serve, we make sure that they have a great quality of life so that they can be productive in their everyday community.
So when you say that these are the kids we're serving, what are the things you see? And we're not going to go stereotypical, but we know, and data has shown that young boys, young teenage males, do need to see role models in their life.
Absolutely.
And what kind of things should someone who says, I'm going to mentor, I'm going to be a role model, what kind of things should they be focusing on?
I think they should be focusing on not just from the man's perspective, but from a woman's perspective, and anybody else's that are going to be positive with those kids. The kids truly need love. They need understanding. You have to listen to your child. Definitely have to listen to your child. I've been fortunate to have great kids, the 5 kids that I got, and yeah, 5.
Okay, so this is the daddy, okay? All right.
Yeah, the 5 kids that I have, and I've been fortunate to have 3 biological kids, and then the 2 kids, my wife and I, we adopted 2
Nice.
kids
Wow.
when they were 3 years old, and
Oh my
and now
goodness.
they're 26, 27 years old. So we know about taking care of
Yes.
children, and being in a position where you just add a little bit of more water to the soup so
Nice.
everybody can eat. But children need love, they need understanding, they need to be listened to,
Mm,
they need to be told how proud you are of them when they're doing things in a positive light.
nice.
And those kids that have wandered astray still need the same things. They need to be brought back into the fold and told that they are somebody special and that they can achieve whatever goals they have in life, that they can come back and achieve it from any kind of mistakes that they've made.
So being the father, I think that's amazing. You had children of your own, and then you and your wife decided to adopt 2 additional children.
Yeah.
And tell me what went into your thoughts, because many families, as you very well know, especially as African descent people,
Hmm.
we often are the extended parents for um, many kids who are left, who maybe parents have been incarcerated or married, parents who are ill. Um, Tell me what went into the thinking process, and what men who are taking on the role of stepfather
Mm.
or a father who's adopting, what kind of things should they adopt? You mentioned listening skills, which is important, giving love. Are there some other things that they should be thinking about and developing?
And I think the number one thing that you should understand is that God has given you the ability to be the father and not the friend. So
Mm,
I think that that's where a lot of people make the mistake of um, losing some of their children by being the friend instead of being the father or being the parent.
give me an example of that. Give me an example.
Well, when you look around today, you see a lot of kids hanging out with their parents,
Hmm.
going to clubs with their parents, and
Yeah.
you sit down and they're having conversations as if they're friends.
Mm-hmm.
And the conversation should be on the parental level where you're the parent, number
Yes.
one, and then the child is the child. And when you understand those roles, then the disciplining will be easier, the understanding will be easier, and you'll have your kids won't be in a position to challenge you as
Yes.
an authority figure.
Right. I think that's invaluable information, because what we have and what the mayor's talking about is what we call blurring the lines.
Yes.
When I've been educated for a very long time as well as a physician, and one thing we know, if when you study classrooms, you'll have a classroom of maybe first graders.
Mm-hmm.
One teacher, the kids are
Yeah, yeah,
straightforward and
yeah,
yes ma'am, no ma'am,
yeah.
and then the other classroom, the kids are
Wow, all over the
wild, throwing
place. Yeah,
around, making noise. And the difference is structure and order, and
absolutely.
understanding what the roles are. I'm the teacher in this classroom, you are the student. And so when those lines, as you discussed, become blurred, when your parent, your father, is now being your hang buddy,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
And a lot of times you find that with single parent homes.
Hmm.
When you have boys in the house where mothers are, and then the mothers treat those boys as if they're the daddies of the house
Mm,
instead of being the son of the house.
wow.
And
Speak to that. I speak to that.
yeah, I see it a lot with the job that I do as a probation officer. I see a lot of young men who have the role as they're the sons, but they appear to be the father figures in the household. And then I think when you get to that point where the sons now feel as if this is my domain,
Mm,
I'm the lion in this house,
okay.
then mom has a difficult time of getting that out of him and being that person in charge. If she start out as being the mother that's in charge, she'll continue to be the mother that's in charge. But if she give that kid the leeway to I guess blur the lines like you said.
Blood the signs.
Yeah, if you give that parent, that child, a leeway to say, well, this is my house and
Mm-hmm.
I'm the man in this house.
Mm,
And you can't continue to tell those children that they the men of the house, because they're gonna start believing that they the
for
men of the
sure.
house,
For
especially
sure.
in single family homes.
Most definitely. And of course, if you're the man of the house, there's certain expectations of the man.
Expectations, absolutely.
And then the lines get blurred when now there's certain expectations for manhood, fatherhood, and
Absolutely.
partner in a relationship.
Yeah.
But a child has expectations of their own. But I always find that when I was a physician, when a child loses the childhood,
Loses the childhood.
there's something to be said.
Rocky Honeybee says, I am a clinical social worker, and I believe once someone knows that they are becoming a parent, they should take parenting class. Parenting is not taught to be a parent, but they do what they saw they growing up.
Absolutely.
Sorry.
I believe that too. I believe you learn to be a parent by what you were taught from your parents.
Yes.
And you if you had great parents, or you came from a single family home, but sometimes you have to break that cycle.
Yes.
And in breaking the cycle, somewhere along the way, you've met somebody else who taught you how to be a better man, to be a better kid, to be a better person.
Yes.
And in doing so, it allowed you to now see that some of the things that you were taught weren't
Mhm.
the,
Wow.
the right way to be taught.
I think that's a great point because I've heard often, well, I was raised and I turned out okay.
Yeah,
And that's questionable because
yeah,
sometimes
yeah.
we feel that the things that how we were raised was the right way because we turned out okay,
Okay.
which means we're not open to a better way.
And what's okay?
And what's okay?
What's okay? How
What's the
how?
bar?
Yeah, what's the bar? What's
What's
the
the
bar?
bar?
Did we really turn out okay, or are we dealing with some type of issues that we needed to deal with on a professional level?
Yes,
You
yes.
know.
Where is the bar? And um, I guess when we look at our ancestors and were in a village, there was training in the village of
Absolutely.
becoming a manhood and making transition from childhood into manhood because the village actually showed you. But now we moved into urbanization and we don't have that same village experience.
And that's what's missing, Doc. That's what's missing, the village concept. Because when I grew up as a little kid in Liberty City, I could go down the street to my neighbors and they looked out for me. They made sure that we were okay. If I did something wrong, they chastised me or they disciplined me, and then talk to my parents and let them know that what they've done. And my parents would then
Do
discipline
it
me
again.
too. Yeah,
So you
the
got this
discipline you
layering
got it.
lesson.
Yeah,
You
you
got a
got it.
layered lesson.
And even when it came to feeding,
Yes.
we could be at somebody's house down the street eating and having dinner. And my mom had to raise 5 children. My mother and father had to raise 5 kids. We were fortunate enough.
Five is that number for your family.
Five is the
That
number.
five is that
Five
number.
is the magic number. But we were able to, benefit from people in our community who wanted to see us succeed. And when you measure success, what is it? What is success? How do you measure success? And when we look at it, it was just getting out of Liberty City, being able to move out of Liberty City into some place
Yeah.
like a Miami Gardens and being productive. And that's how we gauge success. It wasn't about the money really,
No.
or having it, just being in a position where you could take care of your family, have a job, and having a career and things of that nature. That's how we kind of gauge success. It wasn't about money.
Wow.
Rocky Honeybee also says our community also needs to heal from generational trauma.
Yes. Most definitely.
Of course. I still believe that everything that takes place in our community started from slavery,
Slavery.
and some of the wounds that we have
Yes.
continue from slavery.
Most definitely.
Just look at right now, we've been fighting for equality and jobs
Yes.
and equal rights for the past, God
200,
knows,
300
300
years.
years.
300 years.
And we still
And we're
fighting
still
for
fighting for it.
it
Yes.
to this day. So yeah, I definitely agree that we had some traumas. And then there's been traumas in your home
In your homes and
that
even
nobody,
talked about.
yeah, that no one talked about. And you talk about healthy men.
Yes.
We got a lot of men that's out there that's not healthy
Correct.
mentally.
Mentally healthy.
And we need to focus in on how we can help our brothers and sisters who may require mental health services.
And that it's okay. One of the things that, as a healthcare professionals, I found that, and it's all the data shows, women come to the doctor 10 times more
Oh
than
yeah,
men.
oh yeah.
In fact, you have to pretty much pull.
Yeah, you got to
a
pull
man
me. You
in.
got to pull me to the
What
doctor.
can a father, how can a father, how can we change that paradigm? Because as I was looking and studying about men's health, a lot of the data is showing that our Black men, our African descent men, are twice as likely to die from heart attack, heart disease, gun violence, and suicide.
Mm.
And a lot of that has to do not taking part in health. So, as a man, how do you incorporate health in your life and teach towards your family and the
Well, I try to
kids?
lead by an example. I try to show my kids that it's okay when in stressful situations to come to somebody and talk to them.
Yes.
My wife is my sounding board, and she's my rock and my foundation, so I can go to her and talk to her about any and everything. And um, then there's avenues that I use when I'm stressed out,
Talk about
like
those.
going fishing.
Wow.
Fishing is my number one escape.
De-stressor.
Yeah, that's my de-stressor, my everything.
Yeah.
I always tell my wife, you got to have your thing
Yes.
that can bring you back to reality and kind of calm you down and
Yes.
soothe you.
Yes.
And fishing is that thing for me. So I'll go fishing every opportunity I can get. If I can fish in a little thing of water like this,
You'll go and
I'll
drop a
sit
line.
right here and drop a line. So men have a tendency to keep things bottled up
Right.
inside of them, and we need to be able to release those things. We need to get those things out of us. The past hurts that we had,
Yeah.
the past loves that we lost,
Right.
whatever those issues might be, we need to be able to bring them up, talk about them. And they don't make you a weak man when you do that.
I'm
You
glad you
still can be
mentioned
a
that.
strong man.
I'm glad you mentioned that because there is um, a trend for like our generation saying, "Oh, these kids are soft," and they talk too much, all in their
Yeah,
feelings.
yeah, yeah.
And what do you think about that? Is it not being a man to, as you said, communicate, talk about your feelings, and even cry? Or should you stay hard
No,
and strong and suck it up?
I'm not a hard guy, but I'm not a soft guy. But
I know
I
you play
cry.
football.
I cry. I do cry. I have cried,
Nice.
and I will continue to cry because
Yeah.
crying gets the hurt out of it.
Yes. Better out
And
than in, right?
yeah, better
My
out than
fiance
in.
always says that. Better
Better
out
out
than
than in. And I think we've been put on this pedestal as men that we got to be these tough guys.
in. Yeah.
And I could be tough whenever we need to be tough.
There
But
you go.
if I don't have to be tough, why should I use that negative, hard
Yeah.
exterior and then be stressed behind all
Yeah.
that too?
I love that. There is, as scripture says, a time and place for everything.
Everything.
There's a time where you say, wait, you need to be strong.
Yeah.
You be the
Yeah.
protector.
Yeah.
And then there's a time where you chill.
Well,
and
you have to mellow yourself out, and stress probably kills more people than anything else.
Yes.
It'll cause the heart attacks. It'll cause you to eat profusely. Well, you if you diabetic, you in a situation now because of stress.
Yes.
So we have to learn how to alleviate that stress. We got to learn how to go to the doctor.
Yes.
We got to take it
That's
upon
right.
ourselves.
Go to the doctor.
We got to go to the doctor. And I'm glad we having this conversation because I'm going to make my appointments for my doctors really soon.
Yes.
And I'll do that soon.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yes.
I'm glad to hear that.
Got to do it. Because I want to be around for the next generation at least.
We need you and we need men. We need
Yeah.
you around for the next generation.
Absolutely. I want to be around. I want to see my grandchildren
Yeah.
grow up to be productive citizens in their communities too.
Can you tell me, as we work our way out, when you think of the values of a man that
Wow.
must be fostered to be a good man? Because young boys, they're going to be men
Yeah.
just by gender, just by, how they're born.
Be a good
How to be
communicator.
a good man, a good communicator,
A good communicator, a
Yeah.
good listener,
good listener.
be a good provider as well,
Yes.
and then be a person that everybody, even when you're not in the room, could say he's a great guy. And I think if you could live by those qualities, you'll be okay.
Nice.
Yeah, they'll be okay.
Communicator,
listener,
Provider.
provider, and then
even in your absence, your character exists.
Absolutely. I think then people can say that that's a great guy right there.
Yeah, this is a great guy right here.
Oh, thank
This
you,
is
Doc.
a great
Thank
guy.
you,
We
thank
are
you.
so fortunate to have
I
you
don't-
as our leader.
I am pleased to be
Mayor Harris.
here with you,
And you do demonstrate.
you've done a great job as a councilwoman for my seat. You're my council person, so
Thank you,
I
thank you.
appreciate you.
And, we're going to continue to do this good work because we
Absolutely.
are going to work on the health. We're going to work on the communication.
Yeah.
We're on the lives of our residents here every step of the way
As
in all
servant
the
leaders,
areas of
it's our
responsibility.
responsibility to be
Yes.
able to give back to a community that has given so much to us.
Yes.
So we have to give back. We have to be able to
Thank
be in
you.
that position. So
Thank
thank
you
you
so
for all
much.
you do.
I want to remind everyone that Healthy You occurs every first Wednesday of the month. Please join me as we move into next month, which is July. We will be communicating on being safe in the summer and summer wellness. But don't forget, this month is Men's Health Awareness Month. And on Saturday, I'll be hosting at the Senior Center uh, men's breakfast to celebrate Father's Day, but also to talk about all the things that we can do to help preserve good health in the men in our lives and even the men who aren't fathers, but at least we love and care about. So
Yeah.
please attend if you have the time to come in to the men's symposium. And in the meantime, the tip of the day: love, support, communicate, and be a character that even when you're not in the room, people still talk well about you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Happy Father's Day to all the fathers.